On Halloween night 2002, in a mansion worth tens of millions of dollars in São Paulo, a wealthy couple was sleeping peacefully. They had no idea that just a few floors below, their 19-year-old daughter was sitting and waiting in the darkness. She had disabled the alarm system and opened the door for enemies to enter the house. But these enemies weren't strangers. They were her boyfriend and his brother. What on earth could turn a girl from a prestigious family into the mastermind behind killing her own parents? Welcome to the Case Files, where we bring you the most shocking cases from around the world. Today, we're going back to Brazil in 2002, where a family tragedy shook an entire nation and became a symbol of greed, blind love, and the most painful betrayal. In this episode, we're taking a deep dive into the infamous case of the Suzane von Richthofen case, the cold-blooded girl who killed her parents for love. The perfect family in the world's eyes. In São Paulo's upper-class neighborhood, the von Richthofen family was known as an ideal model. Manfred Albert von Richthofen, a successful German engineer, and his wife Marisha, a Brazilian psychologist of Lebanese-Italian descent, had built a financial empire with a total net worth of up to $29 million USD. They lived in an 11-bedroom mansion worth $1 million USD, complete with a private library, swimming pool, and all luxury amenities. Mr. Manfred was the director of DERSA, the state company managing São Paulo's highway system, and also the chief engineer for the Mario Covas Beltway project. Their two children, Suzane Louise, born 1983, and Andreas, were raised in luxury. Suzane alone had a massive trust fund set up, which prosecutors estimated could reach millions of euros in secret Swiss accounts, opened when she turned 18. But behind this perfect exterior, were there hidden cracks silently spreading? The fateful meeting. In August 1999, at a model airplane exhibition in Ibirapuera Park, fate arranged a meeting that would change everything. Daniel Cravinhos, 18 years old, with impressive model airplane crafting skills, caught the attention of young Andreas. Seeing the young man's talent, Mr. Manfred invited Daniel to tutor his son. This seemingly harmless decision became the beginning of tragedy. Daniel not only won over Andreas, but also captivated Suzane, the 15-year-old girl who had never experienced love. With his attractive appearance, extensive knowledge, and confident demeanor, Daniel was like a fresh breeze blowing into the young lady's boring life. The contrast in their backgrounds became a powerful catalyst. Suzane, the rich man's daughter, intelligent, beautiful. Daniel, a young man from a lower class but with special appeal. Love sprouted from this difference. The first lie. Initially, Mr. and Mrs. von Richthofen were quite open about this relationship. They believed Daniel was studying law and would have a bright future. But that was just a sophisticated act. In reality, Daniel wasn't studying law at all. He and his brother Christian gradually lived off Suzane's financial support. Their daughter's unusual spending patterns made Mr. and Mrs. von Richthofen suspicious. When they investigated and discovered the truth, their trust completely collapsed. They vehemently opposed this relationship and gave an ultimatum: break up with Daniel or lose inheritance rights. But love, or perhaps obsession, made Suzane make a different choice. She pretended to obey her parents, but still secretly met with Daniel. The fall and dark plan. Pushed into secrecy, Suzane and Daniel's relationship became toxic. She was drawn deeper into his world, a world full of drugs, gangs, and group orgies. It was during this time that sensitive videos were recorded. In 2008, when one of these videos leaked on the internet, it became evidence of the fall of a girl once considered well-behaved. But something worse was waiting ahead. When Daniel learned about the massive fortune Suzane would inherit upon completing college, a terrible plan began to form. He didn't want to wait another 2 years. Greed had nurtured an insane idea: eliminate the only barrier between them and the fortune, Suzane's parents. What made this case particularly brutal wasn't just Daniel's greed, but the fact that this plan was agreed to and even actively participated in by the daughter herself. The Bloody Halloween Night, October 30th, 2002, a day that would forever be remembered in Brazilian crime history. 12:34 M. Suzane convinced her brother Andreas to sneak out together under the pretense of attending a Halloween party. The 19-year-old boy had no idea he was being rescued by his sister from the tragedy about to unfold. 1:45 am. After taking Andreas to an internet cafe, Suzane returned home alone, but not to sleep. 1:15 a.m. She secretly went outside to meet Daniel and Christian Cravinhos, who were waiting in the darkness. They confirmed the plan one last time. Could Suzane have changed her mind at the last minute? The answer was no. 1:30 a.m. Suzane returned to the house, frighteningly calm as she disabled the modern alarm system, something no ordinary thief could bypass. She went down to the living room, sat on the sofa, and waited. 1:45 a.m. Daniel and Christian snuck in. They went straight to Mr. and Mrs. von Richthofen's bedroom. With iron bars they had prepared, they attacked the sleeping couple. Manfred and Mauricia woke up in terror, but it was too late. The repeated blows to their heads knocked them unconscious. To be sure, the two killers also used towels to suffocate the victims to death. 2:15 am. After committing the crime, they staged a fake crime scene. They ransacked the library, scattered papers everywhere, and took some money to make it look like an ordinary robbery. 2:30 a.m., the Cravinhos brothers left the scene and went to a nearby motel to register for a room, creating an alibi. Daniel then returned to pick up Suzane. 3 am. They went together to pick up Andreas at the internet cafe, then returned home as if nothing had happened. 3:30 am. Suzane discovered the horrible scene. Her screams woke up the entire neighborhood in the middle of the night. The investigation that exposed the truth. When police arrived at the scene, they witnessed a horrible massacre. The bodies of the von Richthofen couple were destroyed to the point of being difficult to identify. Blood was splattered throughout the bedroom. Initially, everyone thought this was an ordinary robbery murder. Suzane played the role of a grieving daughter perfectly. She cried hysterically and tremblingly recounted discovering her parents' bodies. But experienced investigators quickly noticed unusual points. The alarm system was turned off from inside. No signs of forced entry. The perpetrator knew very well how to move around the house. Only low-value items were taken. Suspicion turned to family members and friends. The investigation team began monitoring Suzane and discovered secret communications with Daniel. One detail made police even more suspicious. Just one day after the funeral, Suzane calmly organized her 19th birthday party. She even went swimming in the house pool with Daniel, as if nothing had happened. November 9th, 2002, all three were arrested. Christian Cravinhos, the weakest mentally in the group, collapsed first and confessed to the entire crime. The trial of the century. The case went to trial in July 2006, attracting attention from all of Brazil and international media. This was considered the trial of the century, with participation from numerous reporters and citizens. Initially, public opinion somewhat favored Suzane. The image of a beautiful, intellectual girl who had just lost both parents made many people sympathetic. Some human rights organizations even spoke out in support. Suzane appeared to be a victim. She testified that Daniel had drugged her, manipulated her, and she remembered nothing about that horrible night. She said, "To me, he was like God. He once told me to imagine how wonderful life would be without my parents' presence." Daniel didn't sit idle either. He blamed Suzane completely, even making up stories about her being sexually abused by her father to justify his actions. The blame game could have dragged on and confused the jury, if not for decisive evidence. Ironclad evidence. The turning point came when Suzane's defense attorney, who had been the von Richthofen family's private lawyer, decided to release a recording of a secret conversation. In the recording, Suzane's voice was cold and calculating. "What should I do to blame Daniel? How should I behave in front of the cameras so the court will believe me?" This recording exploded like a bomb in the courtroom. It completely exposed Suzane's true face. Not an innocent victim, but a cold, calculating manipulator who planned every detail. Public support and human rights organizations' backing immediately disappeared. The image of a pitiful girl suddenly turned into the evil blonde devil, the title Brazilian media gave her. Historic verdict. July 22, 2006. After tense trial days, São Paulo court delivered the verdict. Suzane von Richthofen, 39 years and 6 months imprisonment. Daniel Cravinhos, 39 years and 6 months imprisonment. Christian Cravinhos, 38 years and 6 months imprisonment. These were the heaviest possible sentences in Brazil's justice system at that time. Prosecutor Roberto Tardelli called Suzane the mastermind and embodiment of the evil blonde girl. But the biggest question still had no complete answer. Who was really the instigator? Daniel with his greed and manipulation ability, or Suzane with her cold calculation and desire to have everything without effort? The Suzane von Richthofen case isn't simply a murder for money and love. It's a profound tragedy about the collapse of family values, about bottomless greed, and humanity's capacity to justify the most brutal actions. Latest update. After 16 years in prison, Suzane was released in January 2023. She changed her name to Suzane Louise Magnani Muniz, gave birth to her first son in January 2024, and is currently studying law in Bragança Paulista. Her brother Andreas, after years of struggling with psychological issues, is still facing difficulties in life. This case leaves many open questions. Could overly indulgent parenting contribute to creating a killer? Can blind love turn a person into a monster? And most importantly, how can we prevent similar tragedies? The case files will continue to bring you other shocking cases. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming thrilling stories. Share your thoughts about this case in the comments below. The Suzane von Richthofen case reminds us that sometimes the most terrifying demons don't come from outside, but are nurtured within the very homes we think are safest.